This is one of the highest requested mod showcases I've ever received, so your wish is now fulfilled. Alright guys, and welcome to today's showcase with the mod Sanguine. It is available in both Fabric and Forge, as this is originally a data pack. The showcased version is 1.20.1. Without further ado, let's start. Sanguine. Every 10th day, a loud, roaring sound will haunt any player's thoughts. Blood moon has arisen, preventing players from sleeping and painting the screen red. During this event, new monsters will erupt from the ground, the sky cries blood particles, and a reddish color paints the world. Mobs. Being skinless and groaning like a cow, this horrifying creature called the Butcher will attack the player by smashing its skull against them. Occasionally the Butcher will get on all fours to start sprinting towards the player, crushing the bones upon contact. This ability can even destroy blocks. If it runs at an unbreakable block like obsidian, it will lose one horn. This item can be blown to create a fake blood moon sound. This creature drops binding veins and bloody fragments. Rarely it can drop its skull, increasing your movement speed. When sprinting, you get faster, allowing you to damage entities you run into, but also resetting your speed. Offals are like slimes, moving by accumulating strength to boost themselves at players, nibbling at their toes. As these are just clumps of meat, they only drop experience. Similar shaped like a creeper, the carrion will use its expandable rib cage to trap and crush prey until nothing is left of them. Occasionally they can free offals from their rib cages. If this supporting entity isn't killed quickly, offals can overrun the landscape. They drop bloody fragments and gore flesh. There are also two variants of vanilla mobs, the gore skeleton with a special bloody helmet protecting it from the sun. Upon death they drop bloody fragments and arrows. Perhaps the corruption of the blood moon is infecting the normal world as well? The other variant is a tougher gore zombie, again protected by the bloody mess from the sun. The bomber mob is the Gurgle, but instead of walking towards the player, this monster can shoot poison projectiles from far away that will generate a lethal aura of effect, but thankfully this time it is only poison level 1. The Gurgle can also walk up to the player, shooting toxic spit at them. It drops toxin pus, binding veins, and gore flesh. Not even in water you are safe from the blood moon. The so-called mole will keep hunting you down while you are swimming away. It will spit seemingly harmless blood particles at you. However, if it does this 3 times, it will then explode. All 3 at once. When it follows you on land, it splits into 2 offals instead. These creatures will drop bloody fragments and gore flesh. The Reaper is the corrupted form of a creeper. Before exploding, it will unscrew its head to only create a dangerous bloody eruption, summoning some offals. Upon death, they drop gunpowder and bloody fragments. Eyeless the Unborn is a mutated entity, equipped with 2 claws, pushing them apart to move forwards. Growling, this helpless embryo will thrust its head against its target to deal damage. Its jaws are able to smash through shields and armor, dealing 2 to 4% more durability damage on hit. Only this entity will drop scarred hide, but also gore flesh, the former being an alternative for leather. Toxic Bloom. During a blood moon, the caves will be changed as well. An event called Toxic Bloom will occur, summoning 3 new monsters, granting more toxic pus, but also being tougher. Anemones are resembling anglerfishes with legs. However, the tentacle isn't made for luring prey in. Instead, it will release a toxin that will transform the ground around this entity into a poisonous circle of death. It will drop gore flesh and toxic pus. Bruisers having no arms but instead feathers will attack by sticking out their tongue and crushing its prey under it or slapping it against them. Occasionally they can also smack the floor, which will crumble the ceiling, loosen blocks, making them fall to the ground. Upon death it drops toxic pus and gore flesh. Walking on 2 skinny legs, the grub has hooks instead of normal toes. I do wonder how it's keeping its balance. However, this anomaly is its strength, scratching the flesh from players with its hooks. At low health, it will suddenly enrage as the pulsing sac on its back enlarges. He will chase you and explode if not killed fast enough. This will inflict the player with the effect corrosion, lowering armor points temporarily. Upon death, they drop gore flesh and toxic pus. Magic. By combining gold ingots, crimson planks, and quartz, one can create the credence. The warped variant can be crafted by using warp planks instead. This will work as a crafting station. A lot of important recipes can be viewed in the achievement menu. With polished blackstone and gore flesh, one creates the blood well. Craft the drying rack, place it above the well, and hang some gore flesh on the hook to dry it, creating jerky, a very satiating food item granting even regeneration upon consumption. The process takes 10 minutes, thus patience is a virtue. The blood will drop into the well, allowing players to gather it. This is used as fuel in different crafting recipes or to combine them with various items. Goats will now drop a new meat item. Chevin. This can also be made into jerky, being better than steak. Bloody fragments can also be hung, creating blood and normal bones. Now you can create two separate items. Firstly, the sacrificial knife, a weapon that consumes blood to become stronger. However, the blood will be yours. With a shift click, one covers it with a layer of blood. This can be done 3 times, increasing the attack damage from 4 to 10 points. This is impermanent, and after some uses, the blood layer will vanish, demanding more sacrifice. If you don't feel like doing such a sacrifice, blood bottles will suffice. Another item is the chalice, which fills automatically with the blood of your enemies. Only hostile beings are worthy for this element though. After 10 victims, the chalice will be full, allowing the player to drink it, regaining some health points. To progress further, create the Sanguine urn. This allows certain items to boil in blood, creating certain effects. If the player adds to the blood a toxic pus, one can halve the repair cost of an item. This is so handy. The flesh tuner allows you to become passive towards other players, not dealing damage to them. Created with some toxic pus, gore flesh and string, a gut bundle allows players to store up to a stack of the same item. This can be dyed. Another station, the noxious gut, can transform food items, feathers, eggs, rotten flesh or leather into meat paste. It can be used as a bone meal alternative. Occasionally, this also creates another item called bile. Bile can be produced into the potion of recklessness, granting haste 2, but also hunger 3 for a period of time. A decorate is the Crimson Shrine. If filled with blood, the player may see a blood moon overlay. The radius depends on the amount of blood in the block. Bile can also be combined with different ingredients to create the bile viscous. The item is only useful when you have already created the bone needle. So let us take a look at blood effects. Blood effects. The already mentioned bile viscous is a new block that players can fill with various items to create fluids for your bone needle. Firstly, players need to combine bile with a specific item to create serums for the bone needle. As soon as you fill it with your desired serum, apply it to mobs to create permanent effects. Created with gore flesh, one creates the form increasing health of mobs. By combining bile with bloody fragments, one processes it into vigor, increasing damage of hostile mobs or increasing the loot of passive mobs. With scarred hide, one creates the libido, which forces breeding and increases offspring. The toxic pus is processed into celerity, increasing speed of mobs. Blood binding. This part of the mod lets you create an effigy, binding spells to your soul, enhancing stats or granting abilities. Firstly, create the effigy. To activate the effigy, place a gold ingot into the stand, then use binding veins to bind it to your soul. This creates an empty blood binding rune. By combining this in an urn with blood and an additional item, you get a specific effect. Each effect will decrease your maximum health. Prismarine crystals create the effect called Blister. This grants extra experience upon killing victims. The blood barrier is made with a scute. When active, it will negate once damage, however will only recharge after not being damaged for 15 seconds. Infused with charcoal is the Blood Deviant, granting temporary stats boosts after killing enemies. The glass heart crafted with nether quartz will inflict the player with 75% more attack speed and 30% more speed when at low health. With gore flesh, the gory glory is created. Entities have a chance to explode into blood upon death, damaging all nearby targets. The heritage is infused with gold nuggets, which saves experience and bindings, but not your items upon death. Rotten flesh creates the hungry soul, which regains health when killing enemies. By infusing a fermented spider eye with blood, the punished heart binding is crafted, increasing attack damage by 4 points. Blood fragments create the selfish heart, counter-attacking some damage and inflicting enemies with a short but strong slowness effect. The Echo Shriek, crafted with an Echo Shard, has a chance to echo attack with a piercing sonic boom. Infusing a rabbit's foot creates the Swift Strike, increasing attack speed by 35%. The Tough Skin is crafted with Scarred Hide, increasing knockback resistance to 100% and adding 2 armor toughness points. By using a Toxic Plus, the Venom Tongue is created, which makes food items extra satiating. As you see, there's a ton of different effects, so you may want to quickly view the effects and costs. Do this with the Inner Orb. With right click, you cycle through all of them. With shift click, you cycle backwards. Additionally, you can place an Inner Orb into an effigy and stab it with a bleeding sacrificial knife to remove that blood binding in particular. This won't do anything if you don't have that binding, and stabbing the effigy without the orb in it will instead remove all blood bindings. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then please leave a like or even consider to subscribe. I really appreciate it, and maybe even comment. I always read those, so yeah. Stay safe in game. Ciao.